Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols joins us. Morning, Steve.
Hey, how you doing?
The Sex Pistols are coming to the Fillmore this October. I'm just going to go ahead and ask the most obvious question. 1972, you and a buddy say, let's start a band together. Did the year 2025, could you even imagine still being here, much less still playing shows?
No, not really. You know, when you're that young, you don't think about anything in the future. It was a whirlwind at first, but didn't know any different. I thought this is what every band does. They cause chaos and you're famous and then you break up. I didn't realize, you know, that not all bands are the same. But I've got no regrets. It was a great time. We made one great album, and you know, there's a lot of drama involved, obviously.
You did make one great album. It might sound a little weird to say, as acclaimed as the Sex Pistols are, as influential and as impactful. I've said for years it gets lost in all the hype that you actually were a great band.
Yeah, I think we spent me and the drummer, Paul and John. We didn't have a bass player at the time when we kind of started the album. I ended up playing most of the bass. Sid Vicious couldn't play really, and he was in hospital with hepatitis, so that was a good thing. And we spent, it was one of the best moments of being in the Sex Pistols was recording that album. We had a great producer, Chris Thomas, and his engineer, Bill Price. They were like proper professionals. A lot of people seem to think that punk, you just do it with any Tom, Dick, and Harry. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. But for me, that was the best part about it, was getting the guitars right and you know, just spent a lot of time to get it right. And I loved it. I love recording that album. I love recording in general.
To that end, I mean, I and every musician I know in different lineups for different reasons have attempted to cover Sex Pistols songs, and I've never heard anybody come close. You can sound like that, but there's a feel too. There's just a natural, I think, an innate chemistry that you guys had.
Yeah, me and Cook have a chemistry, him on the drums and me playing guitar. It's one of them weird things, you know, it's kind of an analogy. You could say Keith and Charlie Watt, you know, when they just play it, it sounds like them, or whatever it is. I you know, you can't really put your finger on it. But there's always people who think they can play like Led Zeppelin, but it never sounds like them because Bonham was such a great drummer. Everyone just thinks he like bashed the crap out of them, but he was actually kind of finesse his drumming.
Oh yeah, he swung like Gene Krupa. I mean, he's completely irreplaceable.
Yeah, and you know, so you think you can copy people. I see a lot of people on YouTube doing Sex Pistols cover songs, and they're like, to me, they're like a mile off, and they think they're doing it the same, you know. But I appreciate them having a go. But there's nothing like the real thing, and if you want to see the real thing, we got the original bass player. You got me and Paul Cook with a different singer, and it is great. Everyone loves it. There's no negativity. The only negativity is, you know, some idiot on his computer in his mum's bedroom moaning.
That's exactly right. Steve Jones is on Gorman in the morning. The Sex Pistols at the Fillmore this fall, October 7th. I've said for forever, I don't care about your opinion of the gig unless you're in the room.
Yeah.
To what you just said, there's a visceral, very real vibe that the greatest recording in the world still cannot come close to capturing. And you guys, of all the bands ever, that would certainly, I would imagine, be front and center, the vibe in the room when you guys kick off the set.
It's great. It really is. And it's a joy to have Frank Carter fronting the band. He's 41, so he's a lot younger. He's got tons of energy. And it's just a good vibe. It is just a good vibe. You see a lot of smiley faces. Everyone's moving. He gets them doing a mosh pit. You know, they're all ages too.
Yeah.
And it's just where people go and forget all the bull that's going on in the world for an hour and 15 minutes. You know, it's such a joy. I can't believe it, that it's that much fun, because I haven't had that much fun with the Pistols in a long time, and this is great.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. We can't wait, honestly. Steve, you're 10 years older than me, so the Sex Pistols hit. When I first hear of them in the States, in Kentucky, I'm 12, and it scared me and excited me, and it made me think, oh my God, I don't understand it, but I want in, right? Like kids all over the world. That's happened with generation after generation. You guys have still never been replaced as a fire starter, if you will. Every generation hears the bands you inspired, but it all comes back to the beginning, and that is ultimately, the Sex Pistols and that album.
It's unbelievable, really. But we were inspired, just like other young kids are inspired, or whoever with us. I was inspired by the Stooges, New York Dolls, David Bowie and the Spiders from Mars,
Mm-hmm.
Mott the Hoople, the Rod Stewart and the Faces. They were like my inspiration, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing the New York Dolls open up for the Faces at Wembley Pool, which is a smaller than the actual Wembley football stadium. Anyway, and a lot of the Faces fans, they didn't really dig the New York Dolls because they were all wearing high heels and makeup, and
Right.
no one really got it. I already had their first album, so I was hip to them, and I thought they were great. They were so exciting and just chaotic, and I liked the songs, and they came from a rock and roll background. That's what I liked about them.
Yeah.
Just sloppy, but it was still, you could tell that they liked Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard and
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Berry, and I love all that stuff. Eddie
Yeah.
Cochran, I love all that music. I never get bored of it.
No, kids, a lot of kids of my generation, we latched on to our bands meaning the punk bands and new wave. And that old music immediately became so dated. And it was only when I got a little older that I looked back and I realized Little Richard was the greatest punk ever. I mean,
Yeah,
just that guy showing up when he did, how he did. That's the same energy you guys are tapping into. It has to recycle and refresh itself every few years, but I mean, hell, The Who in 1965, I would imagine, had every bit of that piss and vinegar and, thumb in their nose. It was the same thing. You guys were just doing it for your time.
it's just another form of rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Punk was a word someone come up with. It was just another form of rock and roll.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The bands, the artists themselves are just doing what inspires them, but somebody labels it, somebody packages it, somebody sticks it on one side of the room, and for better or worse. And that's almost always for worse.
Yeah,
Steve
yeah.
Jones is with us on Gorman in the Morning. Steve, your radio career was fantastic too. I have to imagine that's also something you did not see coming.
I didn't. It was the last thing I thought that I would be doing. I guess I was on three stations. The first one was Indie 103.1, which was a new upstart, very,
Mm-hmm.
very small signal, but it was very hip in LA at the time. And I just kind of landed on that. I had the best time. I think I did that for like 4 or 5 years. And then I went over to K Rock for a couple of years, just on a Sunday playing new music.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to KLOS in LA for a few years, and then the COVID started, and then it all fell apart. But I had a blast, and why I had a blast is because I could literally pretty much do what I want. I didn't have to talk in amongst someone else's playlist, which I know most people do, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that if that's what you like doing. It was just no fun to do that.
Yeah.
I could literally do what I want, and it was one of the best times I had for about 10 years.
So, as a kid, Steve, before you picked up that guitar, was there a dream of being a footballer? Were you a defensive holding midfielder? What was going on? Ever a big football time in your life?
Yeah, I played football at school.
Mm-hmm.
Not long after that, when I left school at an early age, I didn't really learn one thing at school.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Pistols started and we did a couple of benefit football games, and at this point, it was filled in. There was a bunch of musicians, Billy Idol. There was a bunch of us. I can't
Yeah.
remember. And I went on there, and I'd had about 5 pints of lager, and I was throwing up after about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was done. I was done.
That's an appropriate performance on the pitch. I think everybody would agree.
Yeah, but I love it now. I love football.
Who do you support?
Chelsea.
Okay. Well, we've all got crosses to bear, as they say.
Yeah.
Steve Jones, it is a real pleasure to speak with you, my man. And I ask this of everybody who was at least 10 years old in 1966. What do you remember about that World Cup?
It's so funny you should mention that because we were in a bus with the four of us yesterday and we were talking about the third goal. Was it over the line or not?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and it was. We were talking about it, and there's really no proof if it was or wasn't over the line.
Yep.
Obviously, there was no technology there. I mean, I think, thank God, Jeff Hurst did get the fourth goal, so that really did that was solid,
Yeah, of course.
So it wasn't like it was just resting on that one third goal.
Yeah, there's no asterisk by that championship. It's
Yeah, yeah,
undisputed.
yeah, and
Um,
it was in England,
yeah, yeah.
and it was you need a bit of luck sometimes, and it's the only time we've won the World Cup. But
Oh, I know. I
I
know.
remember it. I was like 10. I remember it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I just growing up a bit of an Anglophile and also a soccer head, I'm always fascinated by that specific World Cup, just knowing what it meant. And that's back when the World Cup was still the way I imagine the World Cup. It's gotten a little out of hand lately, of course, but
But it's
yeah,
all money. It's all money now.
yep. Yeah, that's absolutely all it is. Steve Jones and the Sex Pistols will be at the Fillmore October 7th. I'll be there. I'm looking very forward to it. Steve, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Anytime. See you.